Hi BSCKids, my name is Jy Prishkulnik and I play Cleo De Nile in Monster High, the movie, live action. So the way that I booked the role for Cleo De Nile was I got an audition, just like any other audition, and I had to do 3 scenes from the movie plus sing a song. And then after that, I had a work session with our amazing director and producer, Adam and Todd. I waited for 2 weeks before I found out that I finally booked the job, but something really exciting happened in those 2 weeks. My agent reached out to me and said that the production wanted to know what size shoes I wear, but she didn't tell me which production. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, this has to mean something, right? This has to mean that I got the part. Or maybe it doesn't mean anything, or maybe it means something, or maybe it means nothing. Well, it turns out it meant that I got the job, and they needed to know my shoe size because the wardrobe group was looking for this pair of shoes that were coming in all the way from Egypt, and they needed to order them now because it was gonna take them weeks to arrive. Surely enough, it did take them weeks to arrive because they didn't get there until 2 days before we actually shot the scene where I wear them. So watch the movie carefully and let me know which shoes you think actually came from Egypt. Cleo De Nile is not your classic mean girl. From the very beginning of the process of shooting and developing the character, I was working with the producer and director to figure out how do we make her a different kind of mean girl. So, you know, she does have adversity with Claudine and Frankie and Draculaura, but ultimately she has a lot of ambition. She's really fierce and sophisticated and rather misunderstood. So the way that we make her different than your classic mean girl is, what if we make Cleo the smartest monster in school and she's just constantly competing with her classmates in academics? So that's sort of what makes Cleo different from your average mean girl, but it's also the thing I have a lot in common with her. I really love learning and reading, if you can't tell. Cleo has a really bold, strong personality, and I think that's what gives her her confidence, but she also sort of hides behind this facade because she's, just like all of us, very nuanced and vulnerable underneath all of those layers. So I think I really connected to the character through her vulnerability. So I was really familiar with the fashion dolls before we started shooting, and then as soon as I got the audition, I did a lot of research into all of the pre-existing IP to really learn about the characters and their dynamics and relationships. So I think through this filming process, I learned so much about the Monster High fandom and the whole world. However, this reboot is of course inspired by all of the pre-existing movies and shows, but it's different in a lot of ways by giving characters really different interests and hobbies and personalities as well. So I was also really open to the new aspects that were injected into this version of the story. So a normal day on set while filming the movie usually started at around 2 or 3 a.m. That's when we would have to wake up and get picked up from the hotel and taken to set, because every day we spent anywhere between 3 to 5 hours in hair and makeup, putting on the fantastic wigs and getting the iconic makeup done. Some of the characters had to have full body paint, so that took a really long time, and prosthetics. After that, we would have first breakfast and second breakfast, and we would finally light the scene and do a quick rehearsal. Between takes, a lot of the times we would be practicing our dance moves or napping. I remember for True Monster Heart, I woke up at 2 a.m. and I don't think we got home until around midnight. So it was a really long day, and all we were doing was dancing again and again and again, just from every different angle. I think I heard somewhere once that for every minute of screen time that you see in the final movie, anywhere between 6 to 10 hours of film time went into that, not including the editing and the additional dialogue recording that is sometimes required. But I would have to say some of the best parts of every day would be when we were broken for lunch and we went back to our trailers. Lena, who plays Laguna, and Naseeb, who plays Abby Abominable, we were like the ultimate trio, and we just hung out every single lunchtime and talked about our characters, and it was a lot of fun. If I could guest star on any other Nickelodeon show, past or present, I mean, it would have to be iCarly or Victorious. That's what I grew up watching, and I just loved those shows. Is it cheating if I say Friends? Because that airs a lot on Nickelodeon. I love Friends. I would die to be a guest star on Friends. But these days, I might be interested in writing my own show. We'll see. I could talk endlessly about the wardrobe in this show. Our wardrobe department was, I mean, they knew from the beginning that this is a fashion show. And most importantly, in that world, it was a shoe show. I mean, you should have seen the shoe options that didn't make it into the final cut. Oh my gosh, the wardrobe department was fantastic. They had us involved every step of the way. I remember for the first day of school, which is our first day of class really, which is when the True Monster Heart song comes on. That was Cleo's first day sort of back at school with Deuce after their breakup. So we really thought about, you know, how would Cleo want to present herself knowing that she'd be seeing Deuce again for the first time. But what I really love about that dress in particular is that it looks like a monarch butterfly when it's in its caterpillar form. And so we strategically put that dress at the beginning of the movie to sort of reflect that Cleo hasn't gone through her metamorphosis quite yet, and she's still very much in her pupus stage. Putting on those clothes every single day, just getting the bracelets and the jewelry, the rings and the nails. I mean, it does so much of the work for you as far as getting into character. So one of the things that I love most about acting is how truly collaborative it really is. Not only when you're working on set and you realize how everyone plays a distinct role in creating this whole movie, but also in the behind the scenes work that every actor does to prepare for the character. For instance, the first thing I did when I found out that I would be playing Cleo De Nile was I went to my favorite used bookstore right here in my neighborhood, and I spoke with the booksellers about the best books and resources that they had on life in ancient Egypt and the real life Cleopatra Ptolemy, who, as you know, was actually not Egyptian at all. She ruled Egypt, but she was from the Macedonian kingdom in Greece. So I learned so much about her life and her upbringing and how that could inspire my background as Cleo De Nile. Additionally, I worked with so many amazing people to really bring this role to life. I worked with a personal trainer because I knew that we were going to be doing dancing, so much dancing, and so I really wanted to make sure that I would have the stamina to do take after take in 6 to 8 inch heels. I worked with a dance instructor as well to really learn about all of Cleo's different shapes and poses that she makes. I learned from a dance instructor who was really familiar with her culture. And of course, I worked with a singing instructor who helped me prepare my voice for all of the amazing songs that you're gonna hear throughout the movie. And the best thing about all of the people who I worked with is that they're all people that I see a lot in my day-to-day life. My personal trainer is one of my closest friends. She actually read with me for the audition that I submitted for Cleo De Nile. My dance instructor is a dancer in my neighborhood, and my voice teacher is someone who I work with as a stage manager at my studio. Am I looking forward to seeing myself as a Monster High toy? Yes, that is mind-blowingly crazy. I mean, I already have my little Gen 1 Cleo doll that my mom gifted me for Hanukkah after we came back from the shoot. Yeah, that's insane. I can't believe that I'm going to be a doll. That's kind of wild. Something that I think people would be pretty surprised to know about me is that I'm actually a first-generation American. I'm a Middle Eastern Jew. My parents are both from strong Mediterranean backgrounds, and subsequent fun fact about me is that I'm a vegetarian, and I have been for my whole life. But despite that, I have two really big, amazing dogs, and of course, they eat meat. I actually make their dog food at home. So even though I don't eat meat, I have to cook about 100 pounds of meat and veggie dog food every 6 weeks or so. And I would be remiss not to give my dad credit for helping me, because he's there every time helping me stir that huge pot of dog food. Why should you watch Monster High? Why wouldn't you watch Monster High? The songs, to start off with, you're not gonna be able to get this music out of your head. I still can't, and it's been months since we wrapped. Not only that, the colors and the personalities and the characters that everyone worked so hard to create are just, I mean, they're just so iconic, but they also carry over your favorite parts of the characters from all of the pre-existing material. Is there anything upcoming that I'm working on that I can tell you about? Well, there is this one really exciting thing. And then, of course, hiking as well. We're about to go out pretty soon. Right, Mogs? Thank you so much for watching BSCKids, and don't forget to tune in to Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon to catch Monster High the movie on October 6th. I'll see you ghouls there.